Panther. You're listening to Metal Stream Radio with Metal Matt, and he is totally naked from the waist down.
Right, Metal Matt back again for the second hour now of the Metal Matt Show on Metal Stream Radio, the best radio station around. You know, as I always say, there's not many stations for heavy metal dedicated to the genre of heavy metal, and that is what Metal Stream Radio is all about. And throughout the week, there's always great stuff to listen to. My shows are on Friday and Saturday, 6 p.m. UK time, so you can always tune in, hear some rock star interviews from time to time. You know, I've interviewed various rock stars from KK Downing to Doug Aldrich to Satchel of Steel Panther and Mantas of Venom, Kane Roberts of Alice Cooper, Ryan Roxy, Dennis Dunaway, loads of people. So there'll always be clips and things from interviews, lots of heavy metal music. You know, that's what we're all about, playing all these kind of different heavy metal tracks, be it black metal, classic metal, maybe new metal, not so much on my show because I'm not too into that, but I do play a real mixture, you know. And yeah, I'm just here to kind of chat with you guys as a metalhead, a fan of metal, and a metal singer first and foremost, and songwriter, because that's kind of my main thing, you know. That's everything I do. I'm kind of dedicated to that, you know. So yeah, I'm here just to talk metal and talk about news in metal. In fact, talking of news in metal, there's someone I really admire in the black metal kind of field. Gal, you may know him. Christian Espadal, I think is his other kind of, his real kind of name, but he's known as Gal in the black metal community. And I noticed he did some kind of show in London. I think it was called Incarceration Fest or something like that, some black metal thing in London. And I saw some clips up on his story of him performing, and he's got such a great voice, killer voice. And he does reply to me a bit on online, and I think he likes to play his music quite a lot on the station because he's liked my posts and stuff about it before, because I always put a lot of posts out letting you guys know what to kind of expect each week on the radio show. And yeah, both him and the band Gal's Word, which is his current stuff he does, both like my stuff and share it on their story and stuff about Metal Stream Radio. So that's really great to have his kind of support, be it just a like or whatever. It's great, you know, great to see that they appreciate you know, the airplay and different stuff. But yeah, I saw some clips of him, you know, doing this fantastic performance, and it makes me want to see him live. It's such a powerful thing. I'm not into all genres of black metal, but certain genres and certain bands, you know, really do it for me. And I always loved Venom, and I loved what Gal does. Very different worlds in a way. Gal's more of a Norway thing, and Venom obviously Newcastle, but you know, they're both great. And you know, Venom started it all, you know, that's what we always got to remember. And yeah, they got so many great songs. I've actually interviewed Mantas of Venom too, which is just a fantastic guitar player. I love his guitar sound in Venom because it's totally unique and kind of melodic, but kind of obscure, I guess, in a way. Kind of like the Buried Alive solo is very kind of, I don't know, it's just very unique and just totally goes with the song and the vibe of the song. And I remember when I was chatting with him, he said, you know, he likes to make sure the guitar solos fit in with the song. There's a lot of guitar players who just noodle and try and show off, but he's always about, you know, it's got to fit with the song. You know, it's a musical instrument, as he says. You know, it's not just for, you know, showing off kind of thing. You know, it's about actually adding something to the song, and that's something you can hear with all the different projects. In fact, he's also doing some cool stuff at the moment. Venom and Abaddon, I think it's called, or Venom, Mantis and Abaddon. It's kind of a new kind of version of Venom, I guess, where they're performing live quite a lot, touring as one kind of Venom, with the two originals, Abaddon, the drummer, and Mantis, and they're kind of having different singers. They've done a few festivals and stuff around, and they've been including some kind of black metal singers, some famous people who sing. I don't exactly know how it works, but I know they've done a few shows with different singers coming up and singing the songs, and yeah, it's really cool. It's like a celebration of Venom, you know. And then the other Venom, which is kind of, I think the more official Venom, with Kronos, the singer, but he's the only original member in the band. they got 2 other members who've been in the band a long time now, probably longer than the original lineup were together as a threesome kind of thing. They got these members have been in the band a long time, but they've released a new album too. Venom's dropped a new album. I think I've heard like 1 track off it, which is kind of like a revival of the early Venom, almost in sound. It's kind of I think it's called Lay Down Your Souls or something like that, and it's kind of a reference to the black metal, of course. Black metal! Lay down your souls to the gods, rock and roll. Metal tenfold through the deadly black hole. Riding on stallions bareback and free. Raw energy. Something like that. I nearly remembered it all. But yeah, it's kind of a reference to that. But it's also very kind of fresh. It's got a kind of an old school sound, but great vocals, great guitar attack. So I'm glad they're all kind of doing stuff. Sometimes it's good to have many incarnations of the bands we like. Like Judas Priest, we've also got KK's Priest now, which is kind of like a new thing, which KK Downing's doing with Tim Ripper Owens on vocals and what's he called? AJ on the second guitar. And different people. So KK's doing his thing, which is still Priesty in sound, but original songs. There's some kind of Judas Priest reference in there, I guess. Like Return of the Sentinel and a few things, and something about the sinner, Sermons of the Sinner. So it's still got that Judas Priest reference, I guess, to let everyone know this is a KK release. He was like a founding member. I think he's been there the whole time, and he's one of the big characters of Judas Priest. Whether or not they're trying to make him forgotten these days, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be included much anymore since he left the band. And they didn't seem to want to bring him back in the fold or anything. So there isn't much mention of KK these days in the actual Judas Priest camp, but there's some kind of talk of him being in the there's a new documentary or something, The Ballad of Judas Priest, which I think the title of that documentary, it comes from where Judas Priest first came from, which was a song, not a song, it was like written on a van or a wall or something, The Ballad of Judas Priest, but it's actually a reference to I think it's a Bob Dylan song, The Ballad of Frankie Lee and Judas Priest, something like that. That's where the sort of name of Judas Priest come from. So this documentary, which is done by what's his name, the guy from Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello, I think he's directed it, and he's managed to include KK in the documentary, although I've seen articles saying it wasn't too easy to include the KK side of things and Priest, because there's some legal things going on or something. So yeah, I don't know. As a fan, I think we just want to see our bands getting along, but it's often not the way. There's a lot of stuff that goes on within bands and stuff behind the scenes, I guess, and you don't know what's going on, but we can always celebrate the legacy, and hopefully that's what this documentary is going to do, and it's just going to celebrate the years they had together. But what I was getting to is, you got these different versions of Venom, kind of a different version of Priest, I guess, or at least, the same vibe in the air, and it's kind of cool, it's cool that these band members can do different things, and it kind of is basically solo stuff, I guess, but it's still in keeping to what they always were, which is, I think, what you want to see. In fact, when I talked to Mantis in the interview, Mantis of Venom, I asked him what he thought of the KK's Priest track Hellfire Thunderbolt when it first came out, because he's a big KK fan, and KK Downing was one of his biggest inspirations, as a guitar player. He even kind of looked like him back in the day. So I asked him what he thought of the song, and he kind of said, it's everything I thought it would be, it's classic KK, and yeah, it certainly is. I love KK's Priest. I've seen them live, and I even hung out with them after the show, because I'm kind of friendly with KK after I interviewed him. He's put me on guest lists over the years, and I've managed to see him at quite a few events and sort of hang out a little bit, and yeah, we had a beer. Well, I had a rum and coke. He had a Guinness, I think. I bought him a Guinness, he bought me a rum and coke, so that was very cool. And we just hung out and chatted, me and my friend and KK and stuff after their show, and Ripper was there as well with his friends, and you know, he's such a cool, down-to-earth dude, and the show itself is just fucking awesome, you know. KK's Priest, you know, it's definitely like a band to see, you know. If you haven't seen them live, it's just great. The sound, they're a real tight band, you know. The songs are great, the vocals are great. It's a real in-your-face kind of performance, you know. So yeah, that's KK's Priest, and you know, there's so many other things I'm sure happening over the metal future, you know. In fact, on that note, I'll play a little bit of KK. We'll do a bit of One More Shot at Glory. Nice little reference there to a song I think we all know. Yeah, KK's Priest now with One More Shot at Glory.
skin and left a chain of bites and bruises. I'm sorry when you grin. Almost diamonds for the losers. I'll swim inside your tears and wander through your rooms of silence. The motive's crystal clear. Your tongue is love and your heart is violence. Almost diamonds, scratched perfection. Diamonds, tears in glycerine.
I spied you kissing her. You faked your love, my broken brother. Everybody burn. Secret spilling, smiles a smother. You have to roll the dice. Pain is 2 and fire is 6. Vengeance feels nice. I know the shine behind your tricks is almost diamonds. Scratched perfection. Almost diamonds. Tears in glycerine. Would have thought it would end like this. You gave a stranger a dangerous kiss. Now your pretty eyes say these precious lies were just beautiful imitations. They were almost diamonds. Scratched perfection. Almost diamonds. Tears in glycerine.
Catch our teardrops as they fall and know we nearly had it all. Catch our teardrops as they fall and know we nearly had it all.
Almost diamonds.
Falling tears of glycerine.
Scratched perfection.
Gone is all of what we dreamed.
Dark reflection.
Dark reflection.
Love won't find
Love won't find us.
only in dreams. Love won't find us only in dreams.
There we have, beautiful song there. First, it was one more shot at glory. by KK's Priest. Awesome track. Ripper tearing it up on the vocals and KK tearing it up on the guitar along with AJ. Sean Elg on drums and Tony Newton on bass. Great band. Like I say, if you get a chance to see them, I think they're touring with Wasp soon. The iconic Wasps are going to be a great ticket, that. And yeah, like I say, the second song you heard there, not very metal, I know, but it is just a beautiful song. It's Almost Diamonds by Mark Almond, who is a metal fan and is a Judas Priest fan, because I commented on his one of his posts once, and he loves Diamonds and Rust, and he wanted to do a version himself. He loves the Joan Baez version, which is the original, but he loved the Priest one too. And he wanted to do a version of it for one of his albums, but he didn't because it's quite a personal song. She wrote about Bob Dylan, so he decided not to. But yeah, he said he loves Judas Priest and he loves Dreamer Deceiver, was what he said to me on Instagram. And I've met Mark a couple of times. He's a great guy, great singer, 80s icon. You know, had a bit of a Rob Halford style, a bit more goth, but he had all the wristbands and stuff. You probably all remember the Tainted Love song, which I think in the 80s all the kids were doing his dance moves and stuff, tapping their wrists together and stuff like he did in the music video. Maybe some memories there for you. It's before my time, but I know that that's how it was. And Tainted Love, great song, obviously. That was a cover as well by Gloria something another, more of a soul song, I think. Yeah, he did a great version of that, a synth kind of version. And these days he does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of stuff with Jules Holland. I've seen him do that a few times, or once, and I've seen him do his own show once as well. But he also does this band he has where he does a lot of covers and not kind of the stuff you'd expect. He does a bit of Alice Cooper. I think he does like No More Mr. Nice Guy on a few tracks. It's kind of that kind of stuff, classic Alice Cooper stuff, original band kind of stuff, which is great. And I commented on one of his posts before and said, "Oh, are you playing Alice?" He said, "Always." So yeah, get a chance to see now. I think they play in London a lot, Camden and places like that. So yeah, look out for Mark Ullman's band he does. You'll have to check out his social media to see all the names and stuff. But yeah, he does some cool stuff. And yeah, he's there singing with Kelly Alley. I think that's how you say her name, pronounce her name. Kelly Alley, something like that. She was originally, I think, from the band Sneaky Pimps, I think they were called. I think they were kind of like grungy kind of stuff, but yeah, lovely voice, and there's a great live performance of that song, which is called Almost Diamonds. So yeah, look out for the live version they performed together, which I think was performed on Jules Holland, actually. Jules has always been a great kind of promoter of all things music. I don't think metal's exactly his scene, but he's certainly interviewed a lot of legends. I think he's interviewed Bruce Dickinson and different people, and probably everyone, but yeah, he's always been good for promoting new music and existing artists as well, but kind of quite a creative guy. So yeah, I like all sorts of stuff, so I hope you enjoyed that one. It's kind of probably a good direction to go in, because I'm in that kind of mood today. I've been doing a bit of walking with my dog before I did this, and you know, just listening to podcasts. Boy George has been one I've been listening to a lot of his podcasts. It's quite interesting hearing his take on stuff, and he's quite spiritual and stuff, which I am in a lot of ways, so I like to hear different perspectives and things you can do in your life to kind of change your thought patterns, and you know, let in new ideas and different thought patterns that become kind of toxic in some ways, I guess, things that drag you down, which you can kind of change in your thought pattern and thought process. So he's always talking about stuff like that, which I find interesting. But like I say, been doing a nice bit of walking with the dog, listening to podcasts like that, and doing some grounding, which is where you take your shoes off and you just walk in the grass. I'm out here in Mexico, but it's great. It's funny, even now my feet are like tingling, because it really makes you feel alive, you know. And your feet get used to it. At first you might think, oh, this kind of hurts, you know, walking on rocks and grass and everything. But it's how we're supposed to be, it's how we evolved to be. And it's funny how much it reconnects you with the earth and the planet, you know. Because when you think about it, we didn't really evolve to be having a phone in our hands almost 24/7, you know, 24 hours of a day. You know, we didn't really evolve to be like that. So, you know, we really evolved to get out and walk, and, you know, it does reconnect you somewhat, you know. You don't, you just feel alive. I recommend it. Just take your shoes off, walk, ground yourself, and you'd be amazed how much it kind of revitalizes you. I can feel my feet tingling, but also kind of a whole dopamine sort of thing running through my body. It's a good feeling, and yeah, I'm in a mellow kind of mood, so I'm going to take you guys with me on this mellow mission today, and we're going to do a little song called Death. Someone's at the door, so I'm going to play a little Judas Priest song now called Death. time for some Motörhead.
Right, time for an original now. This is Alien Invasion by me, Metal Matt.
It's Joey Belladonna from Anthrax. I want to introduce you to Metal Matt. His new song, Alien Invasion. Kick ass.
There we go, a bit of an Alien Invasion featuring Joey Belladonna. On the introduction they introduced it, which was really cool. Joey of Anthrax. Now, we will do another original now. This is the King of Hearts. So hope you enjoy. This is Metal Matt, King of Hearts, the great Carmine on guitar.
This is Metal Matt, King of Hearts.
Halt right there!
I had forgotten, lost in ways I did not know. When the days ended and the sun rised again, my life was still in turmoil. Time can change, things won't stay the same, but the things you do will still matter. Time takes me back, but you left me all alone. Time took me back, the King of Hearts. Time took me back, the King of Hearts. The King of Hearts. Broken in two. The stars have touched you, and your light is beginning to dim. You must never let it win. Just let the light in. Life passes you by, always thinking you will never die. No farewell, no goodbyes. You're just all alone and left to die. The last words can only be heard by you. Time took me back, and you left me all alone. No one by my side. fantasized, it's all fantasy. The truth comes at the end. All you have to do is close your eyes and die. Time turned way back, and you left me all alone, thinking I'd never die.
Keep it shut, Liam. No. Close. Close the door. Wait.
Apparently there's a robbery at the castle. I don't know if you knew. Have you seen anyone come down? You haven't? No, hopefully not. No, I've been robbed, but I don't know what to do.
Get out of my car! Get out! Get out of my car! Get out!
Right, and then we have the King of Hearts now, as we're doing something a bit different today. I'll play something, again, that isn't exactly heavy metal, but it's a great song. Just for this week, try something different, because all these kind of songs inspire me as a songwriter, even though it's different genre. So this is Morrissey with The More You Ignore Me, the Closer I Get.
The closer I get, you're wasting your time. The more you ignore me, the closer I get, you're wasting your time. I will be in the bar with my head on the bar. Essential part of your mind's landscape, whether you care or do not. Yeah, I've made up your mind. The more you ignore me, the closer I get. You're wasting your time. The more you ignore me, the closer I get, you're wasting your time. Beware, I bear more grudges than lonely high court judges. When you sleep, I will creep into your thoughts like a bad debt that you can't pay. Take the easy way and give in. Yeah, and let me in.
we have The More You Ignore Me, The Closer I Get by Morrissey. A bit of a curveball there, but it is a bit of a curveball show. I had a bit of a surprise knock at the door, as you might have heard. As you may remember, I rescued a cat. Well, we've had a cat that's hung around us, like a street cat that's hung around us, and the owners were nowhere to be seen for a good year, or maybe 2 years, pretty much. We've been feeding this street cat and different things, and someone who I would guess is technically the owner knocked on the door to see how she's doing, because we recently had to do an operation on her tail. We didn't know she had an owner. We thought they'd all left, you know, because we've been feeding her for so long and stuff. But yeah, they've knocked on the door asking about her towel, because she's missing a towel now, which is because of the operation. We had to have an operation on her because she had a really bad injury on her towel. She was in the backyard, really injured, so I tried her with antibiotics for a month. That didn't work. The vet said the towel needs to come off, and that's what we did. And unfortunately she's got feline leukemia as well, but she's a happy cat. She loves living in this area, and you know, I've been taking good care of her. I love her a lot, and yeah, we've learned her name was Michelada, as we've been calling her Princessa. But yeah, that's something I never thought would happen. The owner of the cat, which you may have seen on my social media and different things, I've been, you know, talking about this cat 'cause we needed money for the operation and all this stuff, which one friend sent a little bit, £20 or something, which was very kind of them. But it was quite an expensive operation. It was like £100 and something pounds, so yeah, pretty pricey operation, but it needed to be done. So yeah, we paid all that. We didn't know she had an owner that was around. Something about her ex-husband. It was their ex-boyfriend's cat or something, I don't know. But I don't know why they didn't take care of her anymore and stuff. But anyway, there we go. But they were at the door asking about her towel, and yeah, they said thank you for taking care of her and stuff. So that's nice. But yeah, that's a knock at the door I never expected to get. So there we go. We'll end the Metal Matt show on that one this week. We'll be back next week with lots more metal and lots more metal music. But yeah, it's been an interesting show this week. I've enjoyed talking to you all. Hope you've enjoyed the chat. I love a good chat, so I hope you've enjoyed too. Sometimes it's good to get lost in conversation and yeah, just have a good old chat. So yeah, great chatting with you all. I love doing this show. It's great fun. So see you next week. Bye.
Hey, this is Satchel from Steel Panther. You're listening to Metal Stream Radio with Metal Matt, and he is totally naked from the waist down.
You would catch sleep wherever you could, you know. If you're on a bench in a park or a airport or a taxi going to the airport, you just, you know, you just get, you know, cat naps wherever you could. And if you could, by the time you got to the hotel at the next town or city, you got off the plane or whatever, or the bus, if you got into that bed for like 20 minutes before you had a show to go to the sound check, it was like heaven, you know. But lots of times you get to the gig, you do the sound check, pass out in the dressing room, you know. It was all about that. It was hard. It was hard, but that's the price you have to pay for staying up and partying.
That's it, rock and roll. Was there a favourite tour? Well, pretty much all of them, pretty fun.
Not really, you know. I've got it was all good.
Yeah.
You know, whether we were supporting Kiss or whether we were headlining with Scorpions and Def Leppard, supporting, you know, it was good, you know. I talk a little bit how well we were treated by a lot of people, you know, and that's good. Kiss treated us well. AC/DC were fantastic to us, you know, and that kind of makes us, then we go on to headline, and you know, it makes us realise, you know, we you have to treat bands well, you know, treat them well when they're on the way up, because you know, it can easily be reversed at some point. But that's not why you do it. It's just the fact that you do it, I mean, as good as you can. I mean, like I say, I don't know if I tell the story in the book. I mean, when we were out there with Pantera, and those guys were so funny. We had such a good time. But we couldn't work out quite why they used to form a queue outside of our dressing room every night, you know, and they were queuing up waiting for some beers, really, you know. Can we hand out some beers, you know? It was funny, though. They would unashamedly form this queue. It was kind of funny. It was funny. I think, oh, God, they're out there again. But, you know, they didn't realise, and we certainly didn't realise, but their bus driver was ripping their beers off. I think Rex tells that story in his book anyway. I think that's something like that. But loads and loads of laugh. You know, it was great to have great support bands that were no problem, fun to have on, you know. And so obviously we would treat those guys as well, you know, push the boat out really.
That's good. And then,
Because we headline acts push the boat out for us, you know.